I never thought I could feel this way. But I do, Aria whispered, her voice trembling as she gazed up at the void of the night sky. The air felt thick, heavy, almost suffocating, as if the world itself was holding its breath. The stars above seemed distant and cold, a reminder of how far she had drifted from everything familiar. Her heart felt the weight of isolation, yet she stood there, as if searching for anything to fill the emptiness. Then, out of nowhere, she heard it. A voice, low and haunting, calling her name. Aria. The sound was like a distant echo. Soft, yet unmistakably clear. It was the kind of voice that wrapped itself around her soul, a whisper from the dark. She spun around, her heart racing, but there was no one there. No footsteps, no presence, just the wind carrying the sound away. She thought it was just her imagination, the product of her loneliness and a desperate mind. But night after night, it returned, that same voice, calling her. At first, she tried to ignore it, to push it away, but it grew stronger, like a pull she couldn't resist. One night, overwhelmed by the fear and fascination, she whispered into the void, "Who are you?" Her breath caught in her throat, each word heavier than the last. The silence that followed was deafening. But then, the voice returned. "I'm the echo of a star that no longer burns," it said, the words like ice that chilled her very core. There was something in the way it spoke, something ancient, something that resonated deep within her. Those words carried a truth she couldn't understand, but could feel in every fiber of her being. It wasn't just a voice, it was a presence. And somehow, it was calling her, beckoning her into the darkness she was too afraid to face. Days blurred into nights, and with each passing hour, Aria felt herself slipping deeper into the voice's grip. At first, it had been a soft murmur, a whisper that gently brushed against her thoughts. But now, it was constant, inescapable. Aria, it would call, each time a little louder, a little more urgent. She began to question everything around her. Was she losing her mind? Or was this some twisted part of her soul that had come alive? She couldn't sleep. The voice haunted her, even in her dreams. "You hear me, don't you?" It whispered, as though it knew the darkness that lived inside her. Aria was terrified, yet she couldn't pull away. She was drawn to it, as if it was the only thing keeping her alive, the only thing that understood her loneliness. The nights became the worst. Alone in her room, she would lie awake, her pulse racing as she waited for the voice to return. And when it did, she felt something stir inside her, a need, a desire she couldn't control. "What do you want from me?" she asked one night, her voice barely above a whisper. "I want you," it replied, and for a brief moment, Aria felt a strange warmth spread through her chest. It wasn't love. It wasn't even affection. It was something darker, deeper. She didn't know what it was, but she knew it was something she couldn't walk away from. Every night, the voice grew stronger, and Aria's resistance weakened. She began to crave it, to wait for it like a lost lover. It wasn't just a voice anymore. It was a part of her, a presence that filled the empty spaces within her. She tried to convince herself that it was all in her head, that this was just her mind breaking under the weight of her isolation. But she knew, deep down, that it wasn't. It was real, and it wanted her. "I can't do this anymore," Aria whispered one night, standing on the balcony, staring out at the empty landscape. The wind blew fiercely, but she barely noticed. "I can't keep running from you." She felt its presence, warm and dark, wrapping around her like a blanket. "You never had to run," the voice said, its tone oddly soothing. "I've always been here, Aria. I'm the part of you that you've always tried to forget." The words sent a shiver down her spine, but she couldn't pull away. There was something magnetic about it, something that made her feel as if she had found her true home, even if that home was in the shadows. "But you're not real," she protested, though she knew it was a lie. "You can't be real." The voice only laughed, a sound that chilled her to the bone. "Real is just a matter of perspective, Aria. To you, I am a dream. But to me, you are my reality." The nights grew longer, and the voice became more insistent. It began to speak in ways that were darker, more possessive. "You're mine," it would say, the words laced with something dangerous. You belong to me, Aria. You always have. The intensity of its need for her started to suffocate her. She wanted to scream, to run away, but no matter how hard she tried, the pull grew stronger. There was no escape. Why do you keep doing this to me? She cried out one night, her voice trembling with fear and longing. Because you cannot exist without me, the voice replied, its tone colder now. Without me, you are nothing. Aria felt a deep ache in her chest. This wasn't love. It was control. She was nothing more than a puppet, caught in the strings of something she didn't understand. But the voice, the presence, it had become her world. She had no choice but to obey. She knew that, whatever this was, it was consuming her. You can never leave me, it whispered. And this time, the words weren't comforting. They were a warning. The fear started to twist inside her, until it consumed her every waking moment. Aria began to question everything: the voice, her own sanity, the world around her. What am I becoming? She whispered into the darkness. You're becoming me, the voice answered, a sinister edge to its words. We are one now, and when we're together, nothing can break us, not even death. The words sent a wave of panic crashing through her. She didn't want to lose herself, but she already had. The voice was inside her, in her thoughts, in her soul. She was no longer sure where she ended and it began. The deeper she sank into this twisted connection, the more she felt herself fading away. The darkness became all-encompassing. She didn't know what was real anymore. Was it the voice? Was it her? Was it both? We are all that remains, the voice whispered, the coldness in its tone a finality she couldn't deny. And she knew then that she had lost herself, lost her humanity, to something far darker, far older than she could ever understand. Aria couldn't escape it. No matter where she went, the voice followed her. It was everywhere inside her mind, in the silence of the night, in the very air she breathed. It consumed her, breaking her down until there was nothing left. She had tried to shut it out, to scream, to run, but it was futile. There was no escape from the voice that haunted her. She was its prisoner, and she had become a part of it. You were always mine, it whispered, its words both a comfort and a curse. Aria didn't know if she could survive this any longer. I don't want this, she pleaded, her voice barely audible. I never wanted this, but the voice only laughed. It sounded cold and indifferent. You never had a choice. As the days turned into weeks, Aria felt herself slipping further away from the person she once was. The voice was everything: its demands, its whispers, its control. It had become her world, and there was no going back. I'm sorry, Aria whispered one last time, the words slipping from her lips like the final breath of a dying star. But I can't fight you anymore. I never asked you to. The voice replied softly, you were always mine. And in that final moment, Aria let go, embracing the darkness, knowing she would never be the same again. Aria had become nothing more than a shadow in the darkness. Her soul lost to the voice that had once promised her everything. Now, it had consumed her entirely. She was no longer sure if she was alive or dead. All she knew was the voice, always whispering, always pulling. She had become it, and it had become her. We are one, the voice echoed in her mind, its words more final than ever. We always were. And so, Aria faded into the void, lost to the darkness, forever bound to the echo of the star that no longer burned.